and forth about language she should use in a tweet. In the fight to raise the minimum wage, Communications Director Jennifer Palmieri writing, "If we tweet, we will immediately get asked if we support 15, and then attacked when we have to answer that we do not. Doesn't seem worth it." With 26 days remaining until Election Day, Clinton's path to 270 electoral votes is widening. Polls show she has a growing command of the race in most battlegrounds. Yet Democrats are worried about complacency, a point Mrs. Obama addressed head-on.
We cannot allow ourselves to be so disgusted that we just shut off the TV and walk away. Because remember this, when they go low, we go. Yes, we do.
In addition to complacency, the Clinton campaign also worried about voters finding contempt for this whole tone of the campaign, Jake. So deploying Michelle Obama is one of the ways Democrats hope to turn out voters. She has never loved the campaign trail at all, but one aide told me today she knows she has a unique voice. She plans to use it for the next 4 weeks. Jake?
Jeff Zeleny, thanks so much. I want to bring in my political panel now. Senior writer at the Federalist, Mary Catherine Ham, national correspondent for Bloomberg Businessweek, Joshua Green, and Donald Trump supporter Kayleigh McEnany. Will Donald Trump continue to attack his accusers while highlighting Bill Clinton's accusers? We'll talk about Trump's strategy for the next 26 days. Coming up, stay with us.
Every day we do stories about people in need. With CNN's Impact Your World, you can help. When you go to the Impact Your World section at CNN.com, you'll find more on the stories that move you. Plus, you can find out just what you can do to help with links to reputable charities and organizations. Find out more on New Day and go to CNN.com/impact. Be the change. Take action. Make an impact.
What does it mean to go there? It doesn't mean reading about it. It means packing a bag and going there and talking to the people. Talking to activists in secret. Activists risking their lives for speaking to a Western journalist in Damascus. Talking to people on the margins of the story about how they're affected by the decisions of those much more powerful than them. That is why I go there, to get the story firsthand.
tired of new politicians who want to go to Washington to demean women. I really mean it. I mean this sincerely. You know, I know you all know. No one ever doubts I mean what I say. The problem is I sometimes say all that I mean. But here's the deal, guys. This is totally consistent. His admission of what is the textbook definition of sexual assault, I'm talking about Trump, obviously, is not inconsistent the way which he's abused power all along.
Welcome back to The Lead. Sticking with our politics lead, that was the Vice President, Joe Biden, minutes ago, calling the allegations made against Donald Trump, quote, the textbook definition of sexual assault. Now I want to bring back in our political panel. Kaylee, let me start with you. Today, Mr. Trump said his accusers, these 4 women who have come forward and given these accounts, he called them, quote, horrible, horrible liars. Do you believe these accusers who have come forward accusing Mr. Trump of sexual assault?
Well, look, I'll start by saying every person who accuses sexual assault should be heard, and likewise, every person accused of sexual assault should be heard. These are allegations. I can only imagine if I'm Donald Trump and I didn't do these things and I was accused of doing these things and it's been portrayed all day as if he did do these things, you'd be eminently frustrated. And for him to call out and call them lies, I think is the right thing to do. Certainly, if they are not true, that is the right thing to do. There are a lot of reasons, the facts that lead us to question these accusations. Why weren't police reports filed by any of these accusers? Why is this coming out in October, weeks before the election? It's all kind of questionable. And why did the same authors who put forward this story at the New York Times also put forward a story in May where their main source came out and recanted the story and said this is absolutely false. I was taken out of context by the New York Times. So I have to question the source, and I also have to question the facts around it. And I do believe Donald Trump that he did none of these things. Well,
Kaylee, I have to say, because we had a conversation on Sunday during the debate after Mr. Trump brought out these 3 women who have accused Bill Clinton, 2 of them of sexual assault, 1 of them of rape, and you didn't go into detail questioning their accounts. 1 of them signed an affidavit saying that there had not been any non-consensual sex and then recanted it. You didn't have an issue with that inconsistency. Many of them had waited years and years and years before coming forward, didn't report the incidents, the alleged incidents to police. You didn't have an incident with that. I guess my question is, why do you have a different standard for Mr. Trump's accusers than you do for Mr. Clinton's accusers?
I certainly don't, because these women, they did wait to come out with their stories. Many victims of sexual assault do wait. That's understandable, and there's a lot of psychological reasons behind that. These women, though, they didn't take their stories and splash them all over the New York Times right before an election. These women took their accusations, at least 2 of them did, to a court of law, to a lawyer, to an attorney, as they should have done. And my problem has never been, and I've said this on the airwaves many times, has never been with Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton's not running in this race. My accusations have been towards Hillary Clinton and the way she treated these women. And she was confronted with these allegations on a debate stage, and she didn't deny them. So we have one candidate in the race who's fully denied the accusations leveled at him, and we have another one who hasn't. So I'm not here to litigate Bill Clinton's sexual past or really Donald Trump's, and I think it's sad for the voters that this is the kind of dialogue we're having right now.
Okay. Just for the record, of course, sexual assault is not sex. But Josh, let me ask you, because you reported pretty extensively that Trump's campaign chief, executive officer Steve Bannon, is hoping to, quote, turn Bill Clinton into Bill Cosby. Explain the strategy.
Well, I think that Trump's psychology doesn't allow for him to be on the defensive. And, you know, his motto is, when you hit me, I will hit back harder. And because these charges are sexual assault, sexual violence, they have homed in on this idea that, well, you know, Bill Clinton is guilty of the same things and worse. Hillary Clinton enabled him. Talking to the people in Trump's inner circle, they believe that Trump's strategy of rolling out these people at the debate and making these accusations basically succeeded. It stopped Republican elected officials from continuing to unendorse Trump. Some of them, after unendorsing, re-endorsed. And if you look at Republican voters, most of them have stuck by Trump. So Trump thinks that this is his salvation, and that if they can just hit these accusations harder, they told me they're going to be rolling out new women who've made charges in the coming weeks, that this is Trump's path to climb back into the race, to essentially make Hillary Clinton so beat up and kind of negative over these accusations that people stop talking about what Trump has done and start talking about what they say Clinton has done.
You think that will work?
No, I don't think it'll work politically. I think it's fine to examine the circumstances of each of these accusations when it comes to Bill Clinton or it comes to Donald Trump. But what is the standard? If the Trump campaign is saying that Hillary Clinton is at fault for calling these women liars who accused Clinton, and then Donald Trump does the exact same thing, then who's at fault here? And I think that the problem is politically, for him, he's on tape saying that he does things like this, and then women say, well, he did things like this to me, and people look at both Clinton and Trump, although they don't seem to hold it against Bill Clinton politically, which I think is a shame. They look at both of them and they say, is it credible that they could have done these things? And they say, I think that the technical term is they're a little skeezy, and they believe it.
One other important point here, too, about the differences in these accusations. By my count, and I could have missed something on the way over here, there have been 10 women that have come out publicly in the last 24 hours who have accused Trump, by name of some kind of unwanted sexual contact. It's been almost...
You're including the women in the beauty pageants, in the, in the dressing rooms?
Yes.
Who he didn't necessarily touch, but he went in there while they were changing.
Whatever unwanted attention toward women of sexual and inappropriate nature. At the same time, it's been 24 hours now since the Trump people told me we have new women we're going to roll out. We don't have any names. We don't have any timeline of who they are. So much like the threat of lawsuits, this is a threat. It's not an actuality, right? So one group of people have kind of come out and put their name to these charges. Another group has not.
Kaylee, I want to play one part of Mr. Trump's response this morning to the new allegations of sexual assault. He's talking about a reporter from People magazine who wrote a first-person account. Take a listen.
Take a look. You take a look. Look at her words. You tell me what you think. I don't think so. I don't think.
He seems to be saying that this woman is not sexually attractive enough for him to assault.
That's not what I heard at all. In fact, I saw the lower third on CNN just an hour ago, and I said, oh, my goodness, when did he say this? And then, much to my surprise, he's being accused of that one line is being extracted from his speech.
Well, tell me what look at her means. Tell me what look at her means.
Hold on, let me finish. I listened to the entirety of Donald Trump's speech. My head never perked up as him commenting on this woman's looks, because when you listen to the whole entire clip, and you did play the before and after, it was very clear to me as a viewer. He was saying, look at her story. He was reiterating the second sentence, reiterating his first, look at her story. And that part's been extracted, but I don't think I could expect much more, because we always take a glass half empty approach when it comes to Donald Trump.
Is that sort of plausible that that could be the case? The problem for Trump, as always, is of his own making, which is that he's always talking about women's looks.
How about what he said about Carly Fiorina? You can't look at her or look at that face.
So people hear that and they think that.
Right, it's not out of character. It's not like Mitt Romney saying it. Mitt Romney wouldn't say something like that, but...
No, I mean, and it's also just the volume. If this were one isolated incident, you might think to yourself, is this right? Is this in keeping with what we know about Donald Trump? But, we're up into the double digits here, so it seems like it can't possibly be a coincidence.
The bottom line is, to me, it does not make sense. It doesn't make sense logically. We're blanket going to believe these guys because they accused a Democrat, and we're blanket not believing these guys because they accused the other side. It feels like a political decision unless you're going to take each of these cases.
You and I come at this from a very similar point of view, which is when I hear these stories, I don't care who they're accusing. I don't care the party. Tell me a story. It sounds credible. That's horrifying.
Right. I care about due process, and I care about the people making these accusations, and whether it's a Democrat or a Republican, we should be paying attention and taking it seriously.
Do you think, Kaylee, that, I understand that you think that everyone has a double standard here outside of Trump's circle, but do you see any sort of double standard when it comes to both sides believing everything said about either Bill Clinton or Donald Trump, depending on who they support, but believing nothing about the people weighing allegations against the person they like?
Well, I think Donald Trump's always made the focus with Bill's accusers not about the actions of Bill Clinton, but about the actions of Hillary Clinton. I do think there's a massive double standard. I think, look, sexual assault's a real problem in this country. And I find it sad for every victim out there that yesterday on our airwaves, when it's the Clinton accusers, it's exaggerations is what Kellyanne Conway was met with. The host, when Kellyanne Conway was being interviewed, she was told that those were exaggerations and they've been fact-checked. Meanwhile, when these accusations come out, they're reported on as if they're fact, All sexual assault allegations should be litigated in a court of law. Every victim deserves to be heard. Everyone accused deserves to be heard. And I think we've really made a mockery of sexual assault, and we should be focusing on real issues that affect the American people, not gossip stories.
The problem is Trump's doing the exact same thing that he accuses Hillary of, and I'm not sure how you win that argument.
Right. You're saying Hillary calls them liars, but my accusers, they're liars.
Well, and what's more, you know, the quote from Bannon is, we're going to turn Bill Clinton into Bill Cosby. So they're not going after Hillary Clinton, they're going after Bill.
Going after Bill. Josh, Mary Catherine, Kaylee, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Brand new polls just out in 2 key battleground states. Has the roadmap to 270 changed? We'll take a look next. Plus, Trump needs to win women voters in order to beat Clinton. A new map tweeted by Trump's son is now causing some people to call for the repeal of the 19th Amendment. No, this is not a joke, or maybe it is a joke. I don't know, but we'll take a look at that. Stay with us.
Choose to go.